Okay, so we are ready now to move on to our next part of our design. So if I look at my design, I need to think of what I would like to achieve in height and in texture as well. So the very high part after this area here is going to be this little back of the Bumblebee. So before I do this, I want to finish all of these dots because I need to really apply pressure when doing them from the back, and I won't be able to do that if this is already lifted up. It's gonna bend my pewter in odd shapes because of this height. So I'm gonna do this now. So we're gonna start with our wing here, and we're gonna do this little dot ridge here, and then lift it up, and then do this little one, lift it up, do that one, and so on. We're going to work down, and we're going to work down in that direction. So doing the little dots, we have to work from the back of our pewter, and I'm going to work on my lino sheet, on my felt material, sorry. I'm going to use 2 layers of felt material. And you need to be very careful when it comes to this edge because you don't want to flatten this area. So I'm going to do the one side first. So I've got a bit of a bigger dot there, and it goes smaller and then bigger again. So I'm going to start in the center and then work my way out with the 3 different sizes. So I've got a tiny one in the center here. I'm going to do a couple, and then I'm going to flatten from the front. So I've got 4 in the center there, and then I can flatten them first from the front so that I don't have too much of a height there, which can destroy the shape of the next couple of dots. Nice and flat. Then we turn our pewter upside down again, and we can continue on our felt from the back. So now I need still 2 of these small ones on that side, and then I've got a bit of a bigger one starting here. So I've done 3 on this side. It is already a little bit bigger. And then I've got still 2 of the small ones here. You need to be careful not to flatten the other little balls. Now we can continue on the back again. So you're going to have to do this back and forth until you've completed the full line of dots. Again, I'm using the same size. 3, and then you can do 2 on that side. And you can try to stay as much in the pattern as you can, but if you do have to skip one because there's not enough space, that won't be too bad. So I can already see that I am halfway into my next design, so I'll have 1 less dot on this side already. Back onto the felt, and then this is still a bigger one, and then I've got 2 bigger ones right up. That's a bit too big. I need a size in between. And then very carefully one right in that corner. One on the edge. The trick is always just to remember which size you've used when you turn it to the front. Okay, so that's that little ridge done. So now I just need to flatten before we continue with the rest of the wing. So I'm flattening from the front, because doing these little ball and cups can really stretch and bend your pewter from the back. So I'm just making sure that I've got a nice flat area before I continue. So I can now immediately do this side before I continue. I like working in a symmetrical method, so I'm going to do the same exercise on the other wing. Okay, so that is both part of the wings done on either side. So now we can move on to the next part. So for the next part, we would like to add this little ridge at the back and the little shape of the wing in the front. So working on the front of my pewter, on my lino sheet with my metal ball tool, I'm going to draw in the outline of this shape. You need to be careful not to flatten your little dots that you created. Again, I'm drawing towards me. Okay, and then I can do the other side as well. And then we need to flatten. So on my hard surface, working from the front, and then my paper stump, I flatten towards my design. Now I'm not going to flatten in between that line and the bubbles because there's no space to flatten. So we're going to leave that like that for now, and then flatten on the other side. to define. So now you need to go like in between the little corners. Here we go, and then we can just tidy up, define. And now I will go in between just slightly. Okay, so now we can lift up that wing as well. So from the front of my pewter, I'm working on my lino sheet using my metal ball tool. I'm going to draw in that wing. The other side as well. And then we need to flatten. And then we can tidy up the ridges around with the Teflon tool. So I made a mistake there, so I now need to fix it. So we will turn the pewter upside down on our felt, and then I'll use my paper stump just to gently press out that area that I accidentally flattened from the front. So I didn't raise the wing, I only fixed that little accident that I made. There we go. And then I can define the edges. Okay. Okay, so now I can continue in the same manner as I did these wings here. I need to work my way down. So first I do the little dots and then the wing, then I do the next row of dots and then the wing. So the next dots is again from the back of the pewter. So now you need to be careful because you're working right up on that ridge. So I take it just slightly off that ridge and just add the little dots. And you might now need to go off from the design. Here we go. and then we can flatten from the front. Just flatten the area around before we continue on the liner. Okay, so now I can draw in the outline of that wing. Working on the front of my pewter on my liner. I'm going to use my metal ball tool again, and I'm just going to draw just that line just to get a shape back, and then with a hard pressure draw in the bottom line of that wing. And then we need to flatten on the front of our pewter. Again, I'm defining not just around the area that I worked on, I'm going over the rest of my design as well. Okay, and then we can continue with the next row. Okay, so now I've done all of the little wing parts, so I just need to shape them a bit from the back because I've lost a little bit of shape as we've worked from the back, adding those little dots. So on my layer of felt, and I'm working on 4 layers of felt, Just going to use my soft tip, and I'm going to just slightly mold them back into shape, not too hard of a pressure. I don't want to lose the shape of my little dots, so just a little bit of pressure just to get the shape of my wings back to where it's supposed to be. Just smoothing out any areas that is not correct. Okay, and then from the front, that looks perfect. So then we just tidy up again by flattening the area around my design. And that is it for this part of the video. In the next video we'll continue with the rest of our wing.